say that you've played your last college game and that you're heading away from Michigan State? You first.
I can't really say, I haven't said that at all. Everybody's just saying that. As far as I know right now, I'll be back. But,
Magic Johnson left Michigan State at the perfect time. He and the Lakers combined for 5 NBA titles in 9 appearances. His rivalry with Larry Bird helped define the 80s, and yet there was a 50-50 chance that none of it would have even happened, because Magic Johnson's future was decided by the literal flip of a coin. Coming off of an NCAA national championship with Michigan State, Magic Johnson entered the NBA in 1979. He immediately tore it up for the Lakers, being the first and only rookie to win Finals MVP thanks to an absolutely dominant Game 6 performance. Taking a step back though, so much had to fall perfectly in place for this to happen. It started in 1976. That August, the Lakers lost Gail Goodrich to the New Orleans Jazz in free agency. At this point in the NBA, when a team signed a player, they then had to work out a compensatory trade with his former team. Agreeing to this deal, the Jazz didn't mind giving up a bit of their future after pairing Goodrich with Pistol Pete Maravich. Their logic was that with their new backcourt, those likely wouldn't become premium picks anyway. Unfortunately, after a couple injury-filled seasons, New Orleans found themselves finishing the 78-79 season 26-56 for the worst record in the league. Whoops. Okay, so worst record means first pick, which belongs to the Lakers, which means it's time to talk about Magic. Not quite. The NBA had one other fun wrinkle at the time. At this point, the lottery wasn't a thing. The draft order was based on record, bad teams got better picks, pretty straightforward. But while the Jazz did have the worst record in the league, from 1966 until 1984, the NBA decided the first pick with a coin flip between the teams that had the worst record in each conference. With New Orleans representing the East, the Western Conference sent the 31-win Chicago Bulls to try and get the pick, and with it, the grand prize of Magic Johnson. The Bulls called heads, it fell tails, and Chicago missed out on the first pick. Okay, so think about that. The Bulls, they called heads based on a fan vote, mind you. They had a 50-50 chance of getting the first pick, of getting Magic, being set, and it was tails. If that coin had landed heads, things would have gotten weird. First off, are you picturing Magic Johnson in a Chicago Bulls jersey sharing the backcourt with Michael Jordan just a few years later? Well, don't. We don't even need to debate if Magic would have kept the Bulls from getting Jordan, because Johnson revealed in a 1991 interview that had Chicago gotten the first pick, he wouldn't have entered the draft. Just straight up. Back to school. He had multiple years of collegiate eligibility remaining, and another year at Michigan State likely would have meant a run at back-to-back national championships. So, in a Magic-less draft, the Bulls still would have taken David Greenwood, who still have a fine but unremarkable career. For the Lakers, though, no one was going to match what Johnson gave them his rookie year, with a win share of 10.5. I mean, he was the Finals MVP. He was otherworldly, one of a kind. No Magic. It means no championship for LA that year. And spoiler, that's a theme for this video. So Lakers fans, I'm not gonna say I'm sorry, but I mean, like, you'll be fine. We'll come back to that championship though. For now, Magic would have entered the 1980 draft for one big reason. The Boston Celtics and Red Auerbach had swindled the Pistons for 2 first-rounders in another compensatory trade. One of those happened to turn into the first pick thanks to that good old coin flip. The chance of going to Boston would have been too good for Magic to pass up. Sharing the stage with Larry Bird, it feels so wrong to even imagine it now, but we were incredibly close to this actually being a possibility. Unfortunately, even in this made-up world, the Celtics wouldn't have pulled the trigger. The trade they made with Golden State, swapping the 1st and 13th for the 3rd plus Robert Parrish, it just made too much sense regardless of how much fun Bird and Magic would have been together. It sucks. Imagine how good of a thumbnail we could have had for this video. Magic Johnson in a Celtics jersey. I f***ed up. And since the trade happened one day before the draft, it was too late for Magic to undo his decision. The Warriors got their prize and Magic headed out west. This honestly wouldn't have been a terrible place for him though. Golden State had an up and down 80s with a revolving point guard position that from 1980 to 1985 didn't see a win share higher than 4.4. Johnson averaged a win share of 12 over his career. And while it's not a perfect measuring stick, it does help show he would have given the Warriors something they lacked for a good chunk of the 80s. With Magic running the show, Golden State would have been sneaking into the playoffs with more regularity. but let's focus on the 1987 playoffs. The Warriors made their first appearance in 10 seasons, but lost in the conference semifinals to the Lakers. With Magic changing jerseys, though, the biggest question is, would LA even be the team that Golden State would beat to advance to the Western Conference Finals? Whoever it was, they'd advance and face the Supersonics. Just for shits, let's say the Warriors win this, they advance to the finals, they play Bird and the Celtics, Boston wins in 6 games. I don't know, the result for that isn't the important part. By just changing a single coin flip, we'd need to rewrite nearly every finals result in the 80s. From 1980 to 1989, the Lakers made it to every finals but 2. The obvious winners of this thought experiment would be the 76ers, Pistons, and Celtics, but it also meant a few more finals appearances for Seattle and Milwaukee, maybe the Spurs. Hell, let's just say there would have been more teams in the Western Conference that would actually have reason to reminisce about the 80s. But the coin landed tails. Magic was a Laker, and we all got to witness a decade of greatness on repeat. Don't get me wrong, his 5 championships, 3 MVP awards, 12 All-Star appearances, it was incredible, and he earned every win. But there was also a touch of luck involved. The NBA threw the coin away in 1984, and thankfully for all of us, replaced it with a flawless system that ensures the right outcome every time.
And that means that the number 1 pick in the 2014 NBA draft goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
One last note, if Magic wasn't a Laker, then he wouldn't be there now, and therefore he wouldn't be able to bring LeBron to the Lakers. So just pretend like I covered that in the video also. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to SB Nation and go check out more of our content. Or you can rewatch this one, but nothing will have changed.